can assume that's Alyssa there. Well, I'll kill this thing first, but Menko's not here. I don't remember what it is. Actually, what is the name of this place? Malefactors. It might be interesting. Oh, hi, Manko. As per usual, we've got stuttering again. But not unplayably so. Oh, this guy might not be, Our buff's OP. Well, attempting to. I know on NG bosses are difficult because, you know, I don't have plus 25 weapons with buffs and 50% damage reduction. Hi there, Sora. I just need to think about quests, though, because I did end up fucking up a quest or two on the last NG cycle, so I went through the game too fast. Okay, I have my current next destination in mind. So I think I'm going to prep one of the items I'll need for a Fellylou's quest line. Because that will end with me getting 2 ancient dragonsmithing stones. Oh, and that's Hogwarts, by the way. It's not called Hogwarts, but it basically is Hogwarts. And exactly as racist. Ah, it has dynamic difficulty on top of a difficulty setting? Yeah, that'd mean hard is always hard. I don't think I've heard of some noodles. I read Sun Noodles. And I'm like, I haven't heard of that brand. Alright, oh right, I need to head west to the other shoreline and follow it north. And get to the Belfry Towers. And I should get the 1 key I need for free there. Oh, this isn't... it's pretty south of where I want to be, but we'll make do with this detour. Who knows, if I don't use a fire weapon, you might actually see something worthwhile. But only if I don't use a fire weapon. And given I'd rather fight with all my might, a fire weapon it is. shouldn't have blood. So probs want to go with that. And then... hold on. Yeah, I got some stuff going on in the family tonight, so I may have to step away. Oh, Daric Leland? It's a more normal sounding name than normal. I mean, my character's name is Meritan. So, I wanted to make a normal-ish sounding name that still kinda would fall at least within the realm of my own aesthetic for names. So I was playing Oblivion. Because, of course, The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is like my first RPG, and therefore holds a special place in my heart. And that's not an Ultra Greatsword. And there's a guy there called Ulrich Leland, and I thought the Leland family name sounds pretty nice. So I copied that. Of course, Ulrich Leland himself is a right bastard, would not advise getting chummy with him at all. In fact, there's a quest to get him imprisoned, but maybe you should just try murdering him. One of the two. Regardless of that, I think Leland sounds nice, so I appropriated that name. And then for a first name, I just turned to a Breton name generator until I saw one I liked, which was how we have Daric Leland. A normal-ish sounding name. That's still not too normal. I don't know if I want to dual wield these. Oh, yeah, wait, 7k HP, 500... Is that 500 damage a turn or 500 damage an attack? It's probably per turn, isn't it? No, I'll take that. I'm not sure if that talisman boosts incantation strength, but I don't think it boosts buff amounts. Ah. Now then, do I want Bloodflame Blade? In fact, I know I'll have to step away maybe in the first half hour or so to go do something. I know I have a bit of leeway on when I can get it done, but just have to step away to make a person's bed because they're currently out and, not sure how much I should say. Yeah, that boils it down. Sorry, not quite. It sounds nice, and it's not too foreign. Because I've had an issue with most of the names that I use online, people have no idea how to pronounce, and some people can't even spell it right, even though it's in text format in front of them. So I just decided to go with a less out there name. That was like, oh, right shield. So I could use a buff like Bloodflame Blade, but I think I'll stick with Black Flame. Black Flame is nice. Anywho, that's the thing we're fighting right now. So, buff. Let's see. Then we use the Cool spell. Oh, that's super slow. However, yeah, I still have high damage output. But hey, I got to see some of its cooler moves. Vagina. mean, I can kind of see where they come from, but that's still a rude thing to do. Which reminds me, PlayStation censors inappropriate words that are like, they censor inappropriate substrings. It's a bit of programming speak, honestly. I'm not sure how many of you do programming. It's a string of characters within a word. So knight, it gets censored. So you just have KHT and 3 asterisks. And if you think about it, you'll know exactly what they're censoring, but it's pretty aggressive if knight is getting censored. And if you're playing a From Software game online, you might come across somebody who has K3 asterisk and an HT the name, and it's not on PlayStation Network because they're just paying homage to that. That's so common, especially when you have Knight Artorias and people want to, imitate him. Now then, back to a more normal... Well, not more normal, just less... hyper-specific setup? Like, I normally don't use the Moonlight Greatsword, but the reason I am is because it's in every single From Software title. Not every Souls game, every single game from Software, I think starting with Kingsfield. Moonlight Greatsword's in it, so I just want to use that piece of heritage. Exactly, Mango. That's what's that. Anywho, I think I'm gonna go do that one thing I need to do. I guess maybe 10 minutes or something, but fortunately there's new music for the BRB screen too, and a hotkey for it, so enjoy. I'll be right back. Well, it took about 10 minutes, as I thought. Yes. Okay. So I guess to be more detailed, because I don't think I held this kind of information back in the past, I think it's when I started to view myself more as a proper streamer and not just a guy that's playing games on the internet with potential. Yeah. Should I use the phrase potential friends? I mean, it's technically accurate. It doesn't convey the right feeling, though. But the gist of what's happened, or what's going on externally, is that things are going well today until my dad tripped and fell and cut open the back of his head. And so he's at the hospital to get that looked at. I mean, bleeding stopped before he went off to the emergency room, so that's fine. What am I gonna do today? Well, as the title says, I'm looking for a boss that will satisfy Manko, while also getting my own checklist done on the way. Yeah, because of that, the thing I had to do is go make his bed in case he comes back home tonight. That way he can just go straight to sleep in some clean sheets. Oh, hey, because of that you got to hear the BRB playlist. Not sure when you'll get to hear that again. Because I really don't BRB that often. Although now that there's a proper playlist for it, I think I'd be less reserved in making use of it. Because you get to listen to some neat beats in the meantime. Yeah, basically. Though I know I will have to BRB again tonight if they come home before stream's over. Don't know if they will or not. It really depends. Well, it depends on how fast the hospital is and checking them out. Anyway, precipice of anticipation. They have cryptic names for the areas, and I need to remember which one's which. I only have one key right now. So these belfries are special in that you can see you got teleportation gates that aren't working. But you got them blue gremlins next to it. That's kind of confusing, that's not what I need. So I need a special key to activate these, and there's 3 of them. There's only 3 keys in the game. And they give you 1 key right up at the top of the 4th belfry, so I only need 1 for what I need. You know, I'm not sure. But I'll continue my previous thought first, which is that 2 of these gates give you talismans, and I already have a talisman because this is NG plus 3, but one of them... Okay, I know which one. One of them you also have a quest item in, so that's the only one I really need to go through. As for will this have DLC or not, Miyazaki has gone on record as saying no. They won't do DLC. They're just going to move on to the next project because, you know, I spent like maybe 5 years or so working on this. They're kind of, especially at launch, they're kind of burnt out working on the game. However, they said they weren't doing DLC for Dark Souls, and that got DLC. So, I don't know if Elden Ring will have DLC or not. I really don't know what talismans I need. Like, sure, there's weapon skill 1, but there's... it's like... okay. And a talisman boost I want. So there's defensive boosts, sure. Stamina regeneration, don't really care for. Very important in previous games, not so much in Elden Ring. Or rather, it still is useful, but like I've gotten used to not having it, so I don't really care. Guard counters, which I do use a lot when I have a shield. Full charge attacks, I'm using those more often. Counter attacks, I just picked that up, didn't I? Jumping attacks, I do use those. Yes to both of your statements. I have 100%ed Elden Ring twice over on this character. I mean, the NG plus 1 is a power trip because you have all of those bosses giving you grief. Then you go back and sure, they're scaled up. They're stronger than before, but you are far stronger than you were and you just have an easy time regardless. This is NG plus 3, so the soft caps have really stifled my growth statistically speaking. And so it should be... I honestly don't know when. It's usually around NG plus 3 or NG plus 2 in the Souls games that the world would, you know, start to catch up to where you are and then exceed you. I don't know how it's going to be in Elden Ring, though. Because NG plus 3, the first half of the game still feels pretty easy. Also, Mandalorian Martin, that sounds like a new name. So, welcome, unless you've been here before and you changed your name, in which case, who are you? And if you've never been here before and I don't remember, then who are you? Alright, I got the butterfly there. Yeah, the Halleck tree is actually pretty hard, no matter which NG cycle you're on, because it's meant to be the final area you go to. Like post-game content. But, wait a minute, did I get the thing I... Yeah, I did. Okay. You know, I haven't listened to the Minecraft soundtrack, and in fact, I've barely played Minecraft. And until that first time I played Minecraft, I did not know it had a soundtrack. I really thought it would be one of those games where it's just, you know, silence, because that would fit with what you're doing. Don't really didn't think you need an OST to score being creative. In all the Souls titles, which includes Elden Ring, the scaling stops at NG plus 7. That's the hardest the world gets. Of course, you can NG past that. It just doesn't get statistically tougher. I think I only got to NG plus 7 in one game, which was the very first Dark Souls. I forget how many NG cycles I did in 3, because I think I did multiple characters instead. Yeah, hold on. Just so I can prove it. Steam. Here. Yes, we have all the achievements. So technically I haven't seen all the endings. There's still all like other 3 Elden Lord endings to get, but they don't count. Yeah, I'm also like wow at that. Like, damn, man. Again, I don't know about Elden Ring, because I'm only up to NG plus 3 here. But in the past games, like NG plus 4, I'm like, man, this is getting too hard for me. Better off making a new character if I want to keep playing. So if that guy went to NG plus 30, that just has my respect. And yeah, I'm riding past a lot of enemies because they really aren't worth the effort. Yeah, I need like over 1,000,000 runes to level up at this point. These guys maybe give me a couple thousand or two. Yes, it adds up over time, but I still don't think it's worth it. Oh yeah, Millennium's actually real tough. Is she? Well, she's kind of tough. Also, yeah, congrats being Jezebel. That... Yeah, Sora's talking about Shin Megami Tensei Devil Survivor. Because he's been doing some challenge runs in that. Challenge runs that I myself have taken and know how goddamn hard they are. And Jezebel is the most annoying boss in that game. Check a text. Oh, okay. That's some good news. So my dad has no serious injuries. We're just going to stitch up the back of his head and he should be fine. Oh yeah, that's true. I have gone down every once in a while. For those of you new, just a family member got injured, so I gotta keep an eye out on my phone to keep updates. But they seem to be pretty fine, or going to be fine at the moment. Alright, I don't need to go this far. Also, it's really sweaty today. I mean, it's not particularly hot, but like, I just... I'm damp and or wet. And not in the sexual sense. In the why am I sweating this much kind of way. And I haven't had that much time to have the AC on, so it's not particularly cool in here. Yeah, probably humid. I think my reaction would be a vacant stare. Because it's gone past being impressed at your skills to why have you repeated the game 100 times? On the same character, no less. Anywho, we're going to try to make our way into Raging Lucario for today. I don't think the boss of this place is particularly difficult, even on NG, but it is a bit of a spectacle. And if you can't handle her, then yeah, it's tough too. It's just, she's easily staggered, so that means she's also stun lockable. Which, yeah, that makes the fight pretty doable. You know, they actually could think that. Also, thank you, Manko. Yeah, the situation right now, again, bleeding stopped. Doesn't seem like there's any kind of real major injuries. Like, very least no brain swelling or internal bleeding. So, looks like he's just gonna get some stitches. And then he'll be fine. Don't know when he'll come home, though. Could be tonight, could be tomorrow. It is late after all. Yeah, I mean, the only way to save Millicent is to just not do her quest line. However, she did have a proud ending, an ending that she chose. And I will affirm that. Plus, and I forgot this happens until I did it again this last NG. You get an ancient somber dragonsmithing stone if you do the ending she chooses. Or rather, you can. You don't get it directly from her, but you're locked out of it if you do the other ending. Yeah, so my dad is old, which means he easily injures, and on top of that, because of his weaker heart, he's on blood thinners. So he tripped and fell outside and hit the back of his head on something. I wasn't there when it happened, so I don't know anything more detail than that. And so the back of his head started bleeding. Because it got cut open. The problem with that is blood thinners, which means his blood doesn't clot. Even if it's a small cut, there's a risk of him bleeding out. Okay, where the hell is the Grace? I know there's a Grace around here, but maybe it's a bit further ahead. I do have some text messages to check. Okay then, Zora. See you later. Okay, basically if I got a Sekide to Elden Ring is what you're asking, right? That begs additional questions, though, which is, like, am I tarnished? Like, am I being isekai'd into my character within Elden Ring? Am I being isekai'd as a random NPC, as something else? Is it just me? As I am physically on Earth? Like, is there any kind of... In what kind of state am I being isekai'd in there? I mean, if it's as my character are tarnished, then yeah, I just keep doing what I'm doing now, which is continue to explore all of the lands and kill all of the hostile things and try to get the best ending for everyone, but maybe or maybe not succeeding. And then I don't know what happened after I get the ending. Probably keep exploring wherever the hell I am afterwards. Oh, so as me and not as a tarnished. Well, that'd fucking suck. Have you seen how goddamn deadly this world is? Actually, would I be affected by the Golden Order? I don't know. It's clearly you can be exempted from the Golden Order, but if you're in by default, then I don't know which is worse, actually. Like, either way, if you're just as a normal human from Earth in this place, that is a death sentence through and through. Or if you're automatically included as part of the Golden Order, that is a fate worse than death. Okay, ascertain where I am, obviously. Need to look around, observe, figure out where I am, acknowledge the fact that I have actually been... Maybe acknowledge the fact that I've been teleported to the lands between, because fuck if I know. I mean, seriously, if I knew I was getting teleported to the lands between, then sure, I'd easily accept that, but if I didn't know that's where the portal went, maybe I'd start having some doubts because this place looks familiar, but I wouldn't immediately jump to that conclusion until I'd seen more of it and more familiar sights. So I guess a bit of exploring, keeping an idea of needing food and water, because we still don't know if I'm exempted from the Golden Order or not. I probably wouldn't be thinking of getting a weapon. I mean, you definitely need one in the lands between, but it probably wouldn't cross my mind because I come from a peaceful world. Or a relatively peaceful world. So... I know I'd eventually learn the need to get a weapon. The question is whether I'd survive long enough to realize I need a weapon. So it really does depend on where I fall in, which part of the map. Because that would dictate what I encounter. If it were the demigods... I guess there's also the timeline to be aware of too, which is if this is before or after the Shattering. It's after the Shattering, I mean, meeting a demigod's a death sentence, period. But before... probably still a death sentence, to be frank. I'm just walking around in the same loop while I'm trying to answer. It's something I do. When I talk while playing a game, I end up walking in ruts. Or even just thinking while playing a game, I end up, like, in town. I'll end up just going around in circles. Literal circles, just run laps around town while I'm thinking. Oh, that's right. I thought there was one of those, but I didn't remember. Not clearly enough, anyways. Yeah. Runners? No, that's pretty arguable. So what you have to keep in mind is that to get to Ronnie, you have to go through the Carrion Manor. And you know what Carrion Manor is like. And then after you go through the Carrion Manor, you then have to go through a dragon and a pack of wolves. Yeah, you can technically sneak past the dragon, but the wolves are a bit too close to the entrance to sneak past. So... on top of that, I don't think Rani would... I don't think she'd be hostile, but I don't think she'd be friendly either. She only really cares about you if you're gonna help her out, and if you're just a normal human, you don't really have the power to help out. Oh, another question. If I had superpowers like Superman, would I... That is also another good question. Because this also begs the question of how corruptible am I? What would I do with absolute power? I think I've answered a similar question before. If I had absolute power without consequence, I think was the prompt. Back to a safe place. Millennia. It'd still be a meager subsistence existence. Because, again, we don't really have fighting prowess. Maybe we have cunning, but we don't have knowledge. Because, you know, we just got dropped in. At that point, we'd only really have knowledge if we knew... if we realized fully that this is the lands between. Then we can start applying our game knowledge, but even then it may not be accurate, depending on which part of the timeline we're in. Roundtable hold? You need to see that... Yeah, you need to be tarnished to access there. Not only tarnished, but you need to be tarnished and graced with gold. Which... that would make the entire world hostile to you, but also make you immortal. In a way. Which would honestly be a lot better than being a normal human. Because then you have the power to turn... then you can gain the power to turn runes to strength, and then... you know, try to fight your way through the land, growing stronger by the day. If we're into the Tarnished, like the Tarnished, as in who would be the player character, protagonist of that world line. Yeah, that's a wild card. If it was me, as like if it was my Tarnished meeting me out there, I'd probably be wary but otherwise non-hostile, because that's just my general stance. You don't attack me, I don't attack you. I'd probably try talking, because, you know, if they're non-hostile, maybe they'll have something positive to do. If there were another Tarnished, because there are murder hobo people that play video games, yeah, that'd be a bad end as well. Although it'd be one of the better ends, frankly. Because you wouldn't be skinned or tortured. Or rotted. Well, maybe not rotted. These are some wild fantasies you're having, Mandalorian. I'm trying to think realistically, like, what motives would they have to do the things they do? And me, if I were actually in that scenario, without foreknowledge that it was indeed the scenario I'm in, like, if I didn't know it was Lands Between I was plopped into, like, how would this go? That's how I've been thinking through it, not the wild fantasies of, well, what if I become the second main character? But yeah, Manko, if I had... So I guess I'll jump back to Manko's question. My answer is similar to yours, in that I know you and I both know there's a lot of corruption in this world, a lot of blatant corruption, as well as a lot of hidden corruption, if you start to dig a bit below the surface. And if I had Superman's powers, that would also make me invulnerable, at least to all of Earth's tech. So I'd probably use that power to take out the corruption, but try to do it discreetly, because I still got a family, I still got friends, I still got people I care about, and they can be weakness, you know? So try to do it discreetly. Take out those that are corrupted. I'm not sure how I'd take them out, though. If I destroy property so they can't continue business, or if I kill them outright, or if I tried to persuade them. Because I've also discussed in the past, and you definitely weren't here for it, about how the justice system in America is focused heavily on punishments instead of redemptions, or rather, re-education. Because especially in Europe, they focus on re-educating criminals instead of just trying to lock them up and punish them. So that way they know what they did wrong, they know how they can do better, and they go back into society as a well-meaning citizen and not as another hardened criminal, which is what the American system does. Which then begs the question of, if you can turn any bad guy into a good guy, the question then becomes, at what point, like how many resources, how much time do you have to dedicate into re-educating a person for them to stop being evil? And because the resources in the world are finite, you then have to think of what the cutoff point would be. Because an evil genius may have tried to destroy the world, but they're still a genius. And if you can get rid of the evil part, they could be a great benefit to society. That's the reasoning, at least the basic reasoning there. Okay. Okay, I'll wait for your prompt on how the beginning changes then. Because, yeah, that'll affect a lot because of ripple effects. But again, on the... I guess going back to what I do, so get rid of the corruption, try to make it more... I get rid of the evils in the world. I know that. Not sure if I'd make it just society or not, because I'm not sure if I'd know how to implement a truly just society. Because every person has their own definition of justice. So I think after getting rid of the evils of the world, I think I'd probably take a backseat, acting more like a vigilante that's more like a threat to those who decide to be evil, where I just kind of let humanity do its own thing and just step in if it goes too far. But there's also a chance I could actually try to guide humanity above them as yeah, I guess monarch might be the right term. To try and create that so-called just society, according to my own ideals and knowledge. And then after that's implemented, I just go fuck off, because my role is done. I have to stick around and watch to see if it crumbles apart, though. But yeah, there is still the risk of just going mad with power. Just going, wait, I can do whatever I want without consequence. then let me just follow every single impulse I have. And that'll ultimately lead to a bad end of alienation and a lot of death. Mostly because people come to try to stop you with violence because nothing else works. Not even violence. Yeah, it really is a bit of a tough question. Alright, back to the Elden Ring thing. Basically went to an exhibit and got to ride and plane to steal animals. Just the plane, we can't fall through the portal. What would you do? That's... If I'm uninjured, that's kind of a better beginning because there's more people. Kind of, at least. More people means more manpower we can divide up. I still can't see it going over that well because you see these things? Have you, like, looked into the lore behind a lot of this society in the Golden Order? The Golden Order is really fucked up. Like, yeah, they removed death so that everybody's immortal, but that just means that instead of, you know, you dying, they just... There's several, not one, not two, but many cults focused around wearing the skin of people, that they're about skinning people alive, which is known to be an extremely torturous and painful experience. And you're definitely going to die from blood loss, except it's the Golden Order, so you're not going to die. You're just going to exist in constant pain without your skin. Because many, it's a fucking village. It's not even a cult, it's just a village tradition to skin people. And there's a lot of torturers, hobby torturists. Like, they aren't torturing you for info, they're just doing it for fun. That's the fucking Golden Order you're coming into. Envoys. Yeah, if the plane crash gets investigated, things could go south pretty fast. It would, again, assuming I'm uninjured. If I am injured, I mean, I'm kind of fucked from the beginning. Maybe I can impart some knowledge, but I'd probably be dead soon. Like, I might get treated, but as soon as we start to face danger, I'd be either defenseless or immobile, which either one's a death sentence. But if I'm uninjured and there's a lot of people and I'm not amongst the first to die once shit goes down, that will show me very quickly and very early on in this scenario that, yeah, I need a weapon. I'm just wandering, I'm just meandering about because I'm responding to all these questions. I know where I need to go, and I'm going in the wrong direction. The thing is, when you're immortal, you have a new worst enemy, which is boredom. You've seen it all at this point. It's cool at first, because you can't die, it's new. Then it becomes old, then it becomes mundane. Then you have nothing to do. Nothing to really entertain yourself with. So you come up with ways to entertain yourself. Because nobody dies, who cares if you do a little murder? Who cares if you do a little dismembering? Who cares if you pluck off a few people's skins? I won't die from it. Who cares if you dabble in human sacrifice? That's freaking commonplace here. Well, the thing with, well, to be frank, it's running water. A good rule of thumb is if it's running water, then it's probably safe to drink. Because you'd have to be actively contaminating it, like our factories do, like our plastic and oil factory, like really a lot of our chemical plants do, actively poisoning the river. If it's stagnant water, like this lake, then yeah, it's probably unsafe to drink. Okay, let's prep for this fight. Let's do some passive healing for this. I don't want to use a flask. It also gives me some time to actually answer the questions. But what do I want to... Do I want to do the Bleed Frost setup? Because it is pretty powerful, but... Let's do the Twin Claymores. Yeah, Mako, you get it. It's like... the biggest contender to deal with immortality is boredom. That will turn many people towards evil routes just because it's entertaining. It's something new. They haven't tried it before. Or there's also the issue with the human mind in that we get acclimated to things. We get more used to it. Like the more you experience something, the more boring it becomes. And a good example of this in the more extreme but still realistic sense is with drugs, where you take your first hit and you get really high and you have a great time, but if you take the same amount again, you get a little less high, and you get a little less high off the same amount each time because your body is acclimating to it, until eventually you just don't really get high at all off the same amount, which is why you have to keep increasing the amount and keep going further into the addiction. And that happens with just about everything, including emotions and ideas and everything else. Not just drugs or addictive substances. So, when you're immortal, you're going to get used to a lot of mundane pleasures, and they aren't going to entertain you at all anymore. You're going to feel nothing for it. So you're going to pursue further and further extremes. Until things get into what we would consider immoral and or dangerous. But it's the golden order. So nothing's really dangerous anymore. It's just immoral. Then it becomes commonplace because everybody's doing it. So yeah, villain out of boredom is a very likely outcome. Oh, hey, my health was full. Okay, for this, I think I know what I need to equip, which should be that one. Now, I can't summon my doppelganger for this, but I don't think I should for Menko's sake. Okay. Also, neat thing, the dragon actually has two completely separate movesets depending on whether you're mounted or not. Oh, that's did some decent damage. No, that's gonna hit me. Yeah, it didn't do much. Did I actually stagger it? Could I have riposted that dragon? I might have been able to. Oh, Dark Moon Greatsword? That then begs the question... I don't think we'd be able to use it. I really don't think we'd be able to. From all the item descriptions that I've read, it seems like the limit of a regular human is 20 in a stat. 10 is average, 20 is the highest. And the Dark Moon Greatsword requires a 38 in intelligence. You'd need a 16 in strength and an 11 in dex. I think we'd mostly have dex covered because we need to be dexterous with our hands to use computers efficiently. 16 strength would be hard to come by. And 38 intelligence, that's well beyond what a human's reckoning can do. So I don't think we'll be able to wield it properly. And I don't know how it would increase our intelligence without the ability to turn runes into power. Yeah, you're gonna have to get used to that, Manko, because as long as I'm buffing and as long as I'm actually picking the weapons for the fight, it's probably gonna be short. Like, I'm not pulling out all the stops. I mean, I'm not doing the every buff. I'm not using my Flask of Wondrous Physique. I'm not using my Doppelganger. I could go even more hardcore and make use of some stronger talismans if I wanted to, but, you know. I can't quite handicap myself too much. That just doesn't feel right. I want to actually push myself skill-wise. I consider, like, part of my skill is how well I can build my character. It's not just how well can I react and respond to them in the moment, but also how well can I plan for it. Which is why I'm a bit let down in some games when they become easy after you min-max, because I'm like, but I want to push myself further, and I can't, because I'm min-maxed. And then you say, well, why don't you just make yourself weaker? I'm like, technically you're correct, but that's not giving it my all. And I want to be challenged while giving it my all. Alright, military soldiers get a helicopter, F5 portals, crash planes, possible. Assuming they actually do get through the portal into the lands between, we have no idea how effective guns would be. Well, let's be real, we have no idea. Guns are designed to kill humans. Again, there is the Golden Order to worry about, but there are plenty of human and humanoid enemies, so yes, guns would be effective to a degree. However, with non-human enemies, I don't know. I really don't know. And plus there's the whole surpassing human limits when it comes to things like vigor. And, well, just the demigods in general. Where was I? I need to go into the town of the gate, but I forget how to enter. I think it's over this way, though. Yes, it is. This is the stairways. Oh, hey, they're still dead. Never rested. Cool. But assuming they bring guns in... It actually also depends which military, too, because... at least the publicly facing military, or the publicly known military, tries not to shoot until shot at first. You know, they take the stance of non-aggression like I do. Don't attack until you've been attacked. That could be very fatal, but again, depends on the circumstances. Again, that's debatable, Manko. It really is. Because it... Gosh, debating this is really quite something. Alright, if they have more helicopters coming to pick up the civilians, you only need to survive for a limited amount of time. And that, I think, is very doable. That is survivable. You're not doomed to die a horrible death in the lands between. If they actually send a rescue squad that actually arrives and actually exfiltrates you. But as far as modern weapons working on, you know, demigods and other beasties and dragons and stuff, there's 3 general camps that they don't work at all. They are extremely effective, or they're somewhat effective. And that comes down to how big of a role mana has in altering physics. Because when you have a magic system, physics don't quite obey the same laws. Because for some scenarios that try to explain why RPGs and stuff don't work, it's because everything's protected by a thin layer of mana and our weapons aren't designed to penetrate that layer, so of course they don't work. Another reason could just be straight up normal anatomy, which is a bullet is a tiny thing, and if you have a giant ass snake, I mean, the bullet's only really going to cause significant damage if you can hit a critical organ. And if, like a toothpick, I mean, if you get stabbed with a toothpick, it may hurt, you may bleed, and if you get stabbed with enough toothpicks, you might die, but, like, is one toothpick really gonna do all that much to you in the end? Not really. That's the same deal with like bullets against a giant monster if we're talking in terms of anatomy. But there's also the ballistics of it, the ballistic shockwave. And they mess up the internals too. Hmm. Hi Zora, welcome back. Halo would be fair to survive. Yeah, actually, Halo would be rather fair to survive. I mean, if I'm a Marine, probably going to die, but I'd have a fighting chance still. If I'm a Spartan, also probably going to die, but I'd have an even better fighting chance. And if I'm civilian, I mean, I just live a normal life. Depends if the Covenant come to glass the planet or not. Wait. I might be thinking of a different game, so I'm going to say no, Sora. Oh, it's Tulip. That's the game I was thinking of. Also, I need to think of what weapons to bring. There are some enemies that can bleed out here, but it's mostly not. Okay, I want some range. Yeah, let's go with twin curved swords. Well, not twin curved swords, twin curved great swords. Alright, the monster anatomy and modern weapons. So bullets, when they travel through, because they have so much kinetic energy, if you've watched Mythbusters do their ballistics myths, you've probably seen what it's like. They create a shockwave through the material that they pass through because there's just so much kinetic energy. Which means even if you don't get directly hit by a bullet, it can still rupture your organs if there's enough force behind it. Just because of the shockwave that ripples through your body, so bullets may actually be very effective against monsters. But it really does depend on where their vital organs are, as well as how much of an impact bullets have in terms of firepower, like what caliber round they are, because the higher the caliber, the bigger the shockwave, and the more likely it is to rupture organs, even if they don't hit a vital spot directly. And then, same deal with the high explosives. Same principle with the shockwave, passing through and rupturing organs, even if you don't get directly hit. There's the shrapnel too, and the fiery explosion part, so... it really depends on monster anatomy. Because it could be instant kills. Or it could be relatively ineffective. Or if we're just gonna bend the laws of physics so magic exists, then it could be completely ineffective. Let's see, Howlers... I don't see how that scenario, if we're talking about the same whole isekai to Elden Ring scenario as before, I'm not sure how that's different from the first plain one. Hello. Oh, sweet. Oh, crap, there's a fourth. You're going to the helicopter and you'll have the power up this time. Right, on a Covenant base. Oh, we're moved on to Halo. That'd be... I mean, that's kind of you're already dead, but you don't know it, because we know Covenant are hostile, and you just crash landed as an unidentified human vessel into the heart of enemy territory. You really need to acknowledge the fact that these are non-combatants you are sending into a combat zone. I just want to point out, this is a school for sorcery, and in their front yard is also a graveyard. This is an American school. Yoink. Oh, that thing is beefy. Oh, whatever comes at me here, I'll kill them. Okay. I wanted to avoid. Alright, that's one down. That's one entity down. These things can still lunge at you pretty fast. They may be lumbering in general, but their attacks can cover a lot of ground very quickly. Again, are we still unarmed in the center of a Covenant base? Because if we're really lucky, we might get captured. But most likely we'd just be killed, because we're humans, they're hostile to humans. Why wouldn't they? Covenant aren't particularly known for taking prisoners. Yeah, I mean, the grunts, maybe. They got plasma pistols, but they are generally weak. They might be a match for an unarmed civilian, maybe not. Oh, for Spartans here? Yeah, we'll probably live. I mean, if there are Spartans here, and A, I recognize that they are Spartans, that we are actually in the Halo universe right now, and I know, yeah, we just need to stick kind of near the Spartans, not with the Spartans, because they'll be in the thick of things, but if we stay right behind them, everything should be dead, and there should be a lot of weapons around. We can probably make do at that point and get out to the evac, assuming they're not here on a suicide mission, because Spartans were very commonly sent on suicide missions. So still a bit of a gamble, but for at least the short term, we should survive if we follow the Spartans. If I didn't know they were Spartans, probably try to stay even closer to them or something. I don't know. Probably have a way higher survival rate, though, because they'd be killing a lot of Covenant. Oh, right, Alyssa isn't here. I thought she was here, because normally she just pops in and I see one viewer, one like, but that's right, she hasn't actually spoken up today. That is weird. And now I miss her because you've pointed that out. Let's see. But yeah, if there was a Spartan team going through the base at the same time, we'd have a pretty high survival rate at that point. Maybe. Gen 2 Spartans? Oh no, Gen 1 Spartans never got out. I read some of the earlier books from the Halo franchise, I didn't just play the games. So, I know there's multiple generations of Spartans. Gen 2s were, I think, the strongest in actuality. Maybe the Gen 3s too. No, it's just the Gen 2s, but the procedure to make a person a Spartan got safer as the generations increased, but they also got proportionally weaker. Gen 1s, none of them survived. No, no one actually survived the transmog into a Gen 1 Spartan. What would happen there if someone else called for help? Well, I'd obviously be hopeful, because in the games, they generally don't leave humans behind. It's like they only really leave them behind if they have to. The UNSC doesn't seem overtly corrupt, like modern day, like many militaries and stories. For a second, I thought that water stream was going upwards. Freaking Mellar flow. Anyhow, I'd be hopeful that we can get on the chopper, but there's maybe not enough space in the Pelican for all of us. They might call in for more, but they might not be authorized for more, in which case we'd probably be on our own. They might hand us a weapon or something. I doubt they'd, like, completely abandon us. But there's external factors on whether they'd be able to help, on how much they'd be able to help out. My immediate reaction is just like, I just kind of quietly watch. I'd definitely be primarily hoping that they would help out and evac us, but a small part of me would realize they may not be able to, so best to... And an even smaller part would be like, maybe they'll just try to get rid of us, because we are an unknown factor here. If that happens, I mean, we might become soldiers, we might become non-combatants, or we may just go back to a regular human-controlled planet and just live normal lives at that point. But as soon as we leave enemy territory, we're pretty safe. Again, ignoring the chance of a Covenant attack. A Covenant attack kind of screws everything over. Interrogation? I mean, it depends if they believe us. Because it wouldn't have any reason to lie, but that depending on the interrogator, they may believe it, they may not. I'm not sure what methods they'd use. Well, the idea is to be calm and confident. Maybe show a little bit of being frazzled, because, you know, you're in an unknown scenario. They'd be a bit suspicious if you were perfectly calm, but in general, you shouldn't get all shouty and loud and panicked. That doesn't really help at all. There it is. There's the blood talisman. Oh, there, Mr. Hobo. Goodbye. But yeah, they probably... who knows? Who knows? First round interrogations, I think, would be simple. Just ask some questions. Maybe pointedly or aggressively, because, you know, you are an unknown, but they generally just leave you alone. But then definitely keep an eye on you, because how the hell did you get in there with nobody knowing? Not even the Covenant. They'd want to know. That one dude who tries to go... ship and tries to get away with it. That one dude's gonna fuck us all over. Not the Master Chief, though, because he has plot armor. Master Chief totally has plot armor. He's gonna survive no matter what, but that one guy trying to get away with the ship, he'd either get shot down by the UNSC for being a traitor, by the Covenant for being human, or by something fucking else, because if the Chief is around, there's also a chance of there being the Flood. You know, I may want a faster weapon right now. But yeah, if that guy takes one of our only rides out of there, he is super dumb and super selfish. A true American. Let's see, was it here? Yeah, it was this one. I don't need to go through here, but I just wanted to be sure. I mean, there's more to go. You can... where was it? You know what? Fine. I'll go the whole route. Okay. Tries to steal Spartan armor. I'm sorry, how's that even possible? Because a Spartan never removes their armor. And maybe with 343 they might, because they don't fully understand Halo, it seems. But going with Bungie's original thing, the Spartan, I don't think they'd ever take off their armor. Especially not out in the field. And on top of that, even if they put it on, they'd fucking die. They wouldn't die because a Spartan would kill them back, or the Marines, or the Covenant. No, they'd die from the armor itself. Because the thing is, the armor, or the Mjolnir armor, and why they needed to bioengineer humans to wear it, is because the armor has motors in it that link up to that try to move for you, as in the suit gives you superhuman strength itself. However, the force that the suit applies on the person inside of it is enough to tear off your limbs. Quite literally, that's what happened to the Gen 1 Spartans. They put on the suit, they try to raise their arm goes flying off. So this is an unmodified human trying to wear a Mjolnir suit. Even if they succeed, they'll die as soon as they try to move a limb. Steal Spartan armor and try to escape. Okay, armor they just created? That's... Well, I don't see how that'd be too special. Oh, hi. I thought I rolled in time. Okay. Oh, I think I vaguely recall what's behind that door. Only vaguely, though. Oh, how long? Or as the kids say, hen long. But again, if it's a person from our group is just gonna try to make some armor and run away, and then that just fuck off and do that, then like they do their thing. I know they're being reckless, and they might be smart because they can put the armor together, but they ultimately dumb. Would they stop it? If it's like their own custom armor, they're just putting together from hodgepodge stuff, like not legit Spartan armor, just you know, regular armor made from a variety of things. Yeah, I don't think they'd stop it. I think they'd probably go, yeah, welcome aboard. You got a gun? Because you and I both know the UNSC needs every hand they can get. If you show you're ready for combat, they'd probably take you. But if it were Spartan armor... hard to say. Because remember what I said, the Spartan armor is deadly to wear. Or rather, deadly to move in, because of the servos enhancing your muscle strength to beyond the point your body can handle. So they may stop it because it's a valuable asset and you're not a Spartan, but they also may let it go through if they know that, yeah, you're just gonna die. Okay, this should be an interesting boss. I don't know if it'll like survive long enough, but it's an agile boss with high damage. It's still a boss that appears as a normal and well, an uncommon enemy in certain areas of the game. So not like a full-fledged boss, but still a potentially deadly enemy. So let's get that healing factor cranked up to 5 points per second. And then think of what weapons I want to use. Why not go with the Yeah, let's use an Ultra Raid Sword. I haven't used this Y-hander in a while. Yeah, as for a buff, Electrify or Blood Flame? I don't think it's weak to Holy. I mean, when he gets the pistol, some people might have an eye on him, or not, I don't know, a pistol's probably lying around. When he shoots Captain Keyes, though, he turned the entire UNSC forces against him, and he get gunned down by the Marines. So that plan would not work out either way. And then he probably made an example of to make sure nobody else in our group tries to pull anything funny. So that's just the kind of people the characters in the UNSC are anyways. Ah, just when the health is full, I got another message to check. Okay, looks like they won't be coming home during stream time. Anyway, there's a half hour left, so unless we go super overtime, I don't think it's likely. Which means you will not get to see the BRP screen again. At least not tonight. Again, let's go with... yeah, Old Lord's Talisman. Okay. Maybe this fight will last a while, Mako. Maybe it won't. Let's go with Electrify Armament then. Okay. I mean, you can see it's agile and has spells, but its health is fucking abysmal. Okay, never mind. That is not a... Okay. That happened. You're saying Master Chief sleeping. It's unclear whether this Maverick is taking the Spartan armor or the UN or standard issue UNSC armor. UNSC armor, that portion might work? Okay, so they wouldn't die when they put the armor on. I'm just gonna ignore the killing the Master Chief part for now. I think it might be possible to escape like that. I mean, you need a pilot for the Pelican. You wouldn't look like a pilot, but who knows, maybe you can commandeer it, especially if a Covenant are attacking. Nobody really cares as long as you're killing some aliens. It may not, though, because you may need clearance, and then you don't have an ID to back it up. But on to the killing the Master Chief thing, that I really don't think would work out. Because he's a Gen 2 Spartan, so yes, I have mentioned how the Spartan armor gives you strength beyond what a human body can handle. But the Master Chief still uses it because he's been bioengineered to handle the armor. There's a reason he's over 6 feet tall. I think he's 7 feet in the games. This man is jacked to the limit of what a human can be, and has been trained in combat since the age of 5. Yeah, Spartans are child soldiers. They leave that part out. Oh, hostage? I still don't think that would really work. I mean, just attacking the chief really wouldn't work. In the books, at least, the chief is... he's superhuman enough that he can dodge rounds at close range. I don't think he reacts fast enough to, say, dodge the bullets themselves, but he reacts enough to the person firing the bullets when they're going to pull the trigger, where they're aiming, and can then proactively dodge live fire, which is... yeah, I don't think this random schmo that's trying to pull a fast one is gonna really succeed. Okay, so if we're gonna gloss over whether or not it's possible to kidnap a superhuman who definitely sleeps with one eye open. Let's say he has taken him hostage. And let's say he has restraint strong enough to actually bind him. Yeah, UNSC would totally go after him. Because the Master Chief is the strongest soldier amongst them. He's a living legend and our last hope for defeating the Covenant. You kidnap someone like that, you haven't just turned the military against you, you've turned all of humankind against you. Yeah, I think I'll stick with this Y-hander. The survivor, you mean the person who kicked that Master Chief? I mean, that would be death, quite literally. You've proven yourself basically a Covenant sympathizer. And the Covenant are waging a war of extinction. So, yeah, again, you've declared yourself an enemy of mankind. You deserve no mercy. I'll stick with the Zweihander. Oh, so close. AI. Alright, once viruses they're having playing, grabs, and has head trauma. Forerunner equipment again. Use Forerunner equipment against the galaxy. That could be a potential subplot, if not a main plot of a game. Like, yeah, they'd still be enemy of mankind, but if they've got Forerunner tech on their side, they'd probably survive for a while. I still don't think they'd win because the Master Chief has plot armor. The universe demands he succeed. Yeah, I think he could become a formidable force if he gets Forerunner tech anyways. As far as what I need to do here. Do I want to use the long swords or the curved great swords? Okay, so we're going to ignore the plot armor that the Master Chief has and just see he does that. How the what the fuck do you think would happen? Okay, I don't... This does depend on which timeline we're in, because... sorry, what part of the timeline we're in. Because the Halo rings, to my understanding, didn't have overlapping fields of efficacy. As in, when you destroy one ring, that sector of the galaxy is now quote-unquote safe. I mean, the Flood gets still there and fuck everything up, but I don't think Halo ring could reach there once you destroy one. But if he fires all, I mean, all life on the universe is wiped out. I wouldn't be a survivor. Well, actually, the Flood would survive, but they'd starve. Yeah, so it's either the dual curved great swords, which that might work out, or dual long swords. Halo 1? Ah, so none of the rings have been destroyed. Yeah, no one would survive then. All intelligent life would be wiped out from the universe. Like, you don't survive the Halo rings activating. If depends which point we're at in the story for Halo. I mean, the first Halo. Because remember, when they first crash land on the ring, they don't know what it is. So it depends whether they know what the Halo rings are yet. Because if they know what they are, hell yeah, they'd stop them. They don't want mankind to go extinct, but if they don't know what they are, they just maybe they'd be like, some crazy guy wants this. It's probably bad, so let's not do it. Let's stop him, or just leave him alone. He's crazy. I don't know. Still don't know if Dad's going home tonight. And I still don't know if Minko's here. Because this is the actual boss of the place. And... Alright, let's go with Twin Curve Great Swords. I haven't really played Halo Infinite. I kind of stopped at Halo 3. I know about Halo Reach. And I have a general idea of the 343 games. So, I don't know. I have to sprint in. There we go.
Hush, little Calva. I'll soon birth thee anew, a sweeting, fresh and pure.
What I do is kill the boss. Oh yeah, Anko, as I'm saying, this may or may not be a worthwhile boss. Around again.
My beloved, have no fear. I will hold thee. Patience. Ye will be countless upon my name as Rani the Witch. Mother's rich slumber shall not be disturbed by thee. Foul trespasser. Send word far and wide. Of the last queen of Caria, Renala of the Full Moon. And the majesty of the night she conjureth.
Okay. Okay, starting right off the bat with this one. Okay. Oh, that happened.
Weave thy night into being.
I mean, she's a cool boss, but as you saw, if you can get close, she's not much. Oh, sweet, 200k. That was worth it. Of course, she's still alive, though.
Where did he flee, my sweetings? Come
Got
out
dementia, though.
from whence ye hide. There are books and light aplenty.
Oh, hey, 153. Pretty decent place to stop. I guess we didn't find that one boss you were looking for, Menko. I don't know much about The Witcher 3. Or the Witcherverse other than it's medieval but with monsters and a little bit of magic. And medieval already had a high mortality rate due to no science, no real sanitation, a lot of wars and such. On top of that, we got monsters. I mean, it's less deadly than the lands between, but that's still not a place you'd expect to die of old age in. Ciri, don't really know as a character. But yeah, assuming I'm not being actively threatened, though, I'd probably get up. Because being prone on the ground is a pretty vulnerable position to be in. Only reason you'd want to do that is to try and lull the people around you, or creature around you.
Where did he flee, my sweetings? Come out from whence ye hide. There are books and light.
Spin to win.
Plenty, dither not. Come out, say I.
Actually, do I have... Yeah, there we are, Gripper of the Unborn. Okay, so now we can respec, but I don't really care to. Don't have any stats I want to respec. I haven't used scimitars in a while. I want these to be my main weapon in NG+2. But I use them for most of it, but not all of it. Started using the Zweihander too. At this point, you're just writing a fanfic, mate. Oh, right, that's where I was going. You need to go down to the first floor.
Leave me be. It's pathetic, I know, but I need to think. Ah, you, please. It's pathetic, and...
I guess she really does need... Oh, I forgot about Roger. I mean, I don't think I need to talk with him at all, but I still feel it's sad that I miss him every time.
Ah, we meet again after all.
Oh, you're already dying.
For any offense given by my bearing, but I'm quite unable to move, you see. So, what do you need? Ah, you defeated Godric and claimed yourself a great rune. Looks like we both got what we wanted out of Stormvale, didn't we? Well done, friend. Something to mark the occasion. Go on, take it.
Nice.
As you might have guessed, I still can't move. My fighting days are behind me. No need to be polite. I've no use for it anymore.
That's all about that, so... Fuck if I know. I still don't know Yennefer as a character or a person. Probably observe? I know some people would freak out because it's, you know, they haven't seen that before. What are you doing to me? With me, I don't know if healing magic is painful because it's forcefully restructuring your body to mend itself or not, but as long as I have some idea that it's supposed to be helpful or at least not harmful, I'd probably observe. I mean, getting hostile if they have unknown powers is really not a good idea. But there are dumb people in the world. Fortunately, I'm not that dumb. I mean, I can't quite claim I'm a smart person just because I don't know how smart people are out there. I don't know how I'd behave in all scenarios, so I can't say with certainty that I am smart, but I know I'm not dumb in most cases. Alright. Let's change that, but whatever, I'll keep it. Let's just sort out my loot then. Get rid of the old talismans because they just clog up the inventory. Is that everything? Looks like everything. Okay. Time to call it a night then. Exactly 2200. We are ending on time for once. And we get to see the new ending card I made. Which, yes, has its own playlist. That is shuffled, by the way. All the talismans. And probably multiples. I mean, there's a limit to how much you can put in your bottomless chest. It's not actually bottomless, so I ran out of space and had to sell duplicates. But yes, ignoring the potential duplicates, I have all the talismans. And I only really take out the ones that I think I potentially use. Because that way I can hot swap to them easier. I don't really use the crit one though, despite thinking I might. Oh well. Still. Need to call that into stream. Plus, I have to poop now, too. What fortuitous timing. So, therefore, I thank thee for watching. Have a good night. I'll be here tomorrow. And fare thee well.